Today I'm going to be talking to you about this offering that Autodesk has that is covered under this huge umbrella called Autodesk for Government. And I'm going to be covering the Revit for Government part. Basically, the idea of this webinar, first of all, is to, besides of pointing out how Autodesk Docs and all these tools that allow you to place models in the cloud work, I want to give you an insight how you can run them in the Revit for Government environment, which is a secure environment that allows US-based government officials to work on a Revit project. So to me, the most important part, besides of making sure that, I hope you all know how to work on the Revit cloud and work with models in the cloud. But to me, the most important part of this webinar was basically to show you how to get this tool, this environment, to run with your Revit, okay? So to get us started, the basic definition of Revit for Government is that, or in Autodesk for Government, and as I mentioned before, Revit for Government is part of this huge umbrella called Autodesk for Government. It is a cloud-based environment that is designed to improve project delivery and outcomes. The environment will provide a standardized approach to security authorizations for cloud service applications. It is recommended that you use, if you want to use Revit for Government, that you use a release of 2024, Revit 2024, the 2.1 release or later. I myself, I advise you to start using 25 or 26, awesome releases. A little bit on a side note, Revit is really getting strong. Now, before you switch to the Autodesk for Government environment, it is always recommended to close all of the other Autodesk applications, because failing to do so may result in environment switch failure. It will not switch to the Revit for Government, again, because it is a very secure environment that is, again, it needs to be in a protected environment, right? We are trying to engulf all this information in an envelope of security, okay? So, and then if you sign into another Autodesk desktop application, such as Civil 3D or 3D Max, while Revit is open, your environment will switch from the Autodesk for Government to commercial. Okay, and then when you return to Revit, you will be prompted to sign in again. So very important to be switching between the Autodesk for Government environment to the commercial environment. And then you need to, when you don't no longer need to be working on the Autodesk for Government environment, you can return to the switcher tool window and make the commercial application current. So first of all, you need to know where to find and where to launch this Revit in the Autodesk for Government environment. And it is a switch tool that is located in the program files. So I can show you the location in my program files. If you see here on my screen, this is the switch Autodesk environment tool that will switch the environment, and you can run the application from this location on. The path to it is the C program files, Autodesk, then the release of Revit that you want to run the application out of, and then you start the switcher environment. Okay, when you start that application, you will get this dialog box. In the Switch Autodesk Environment dialog box, you will want to select the, let me grab my pointer. You want to select the bottom line and make it current. Okay. And then just as a side note, applications that are dependent on the single sign-on and not supported in Autodesk for Government environment will be signed out while you are running the Autodesk for Government environment. So again, as I mentioned before you start and launch the switcher, you want to close out of any other Autodesk application and concentrate just on your Revit work for the time that you are in the Autodesk for Government environment. And then once you make it current, you will get, first of all, you will get this dialog box here at the bottom that says your Autodesk environment has switched to Autodesk for Government. Please sign on, open Revit and sign on. You need to have an entitlement for Revit for Government anyhow. Okay, and then you need to make sure that the switcher application that Autodesk for Government is marked as current, as it is here in this screenshot. Okay, then you're going to start Revit, launch Revit, and you will receive this first message in your browser window, and it's going to let you know that you're accessing Autodesk for Government. You will need to click on accept to continue. And then you're going to be log in using your your Autodesk ID. And again, as I mentioned a second ago, you need to have an entitlement to Autodesk for Government to log on. Once you are logged on, you can go to product, as you can see in this window. And then you can start working in Revit as you do normally. Once Revit is open, you can work as usual. You can access models that are placed on the Revit cloud work sharing. You can save new models to the cloud to share with others who have Autodesk for Government entitlements. But on a side note, that when you are working in Revit for Government environment, there are some features that you are used to working in Revit that are going to be disabled. Okay, and I'm going to give you the list of the features that are going to be disabled. Okay. One of them, for example, as the screenshot shows, is the cloud rendering, and it's going to give you that error message that says that you cannot access this feature because you are signed in to the Autodesk for Government environment. Okay, so that you need to keep in mind. If you want to return to work on commercial projects, it is necessary to open up the switcher application and switch back the environment back. Okay, so you want to, when you're done working your Revit model that is on the Revit for Government environment, you want to close out of Revit, and then you want to run the switcher application again and change your environment back to commercial. And keep that in mind. It is two completely different applications. You can create a shortcut for that application, place it on your desktop if that makes your life a little bit easier, instead of going through the whole path of going to the program files and so on and so on. So I want to give you the limitations and the what does not work or what is disabled when you're using Revit in Autodesk for Government. The first thing that you're going to notice when you're using Autodesk for government and Revit is that the new Revit home feature that is in the home screen is going to be disabled. Okay, and Revit is going to return to the classic view of the home screen. Okay, first big change. The second, the link coordination model from Autodesk Docs that you find that command in the Insert tab. That command is going to be disabled. The Load Autodesk family from the Insert tab is going to be disabled. The cloud rendering feature that is run through from the View tab is going to be disabled. The link topography that you find in the Insert tab is going to be disabled. Format 3D sketch that is found in Massing and Site tab is going to be disabled. The carbon inset that is placed in the Analysis tab, both in Generate and Optimize, is going to be disabled. Shared views from the Collaborate tab is going to be disabled. PNID modeler in the Systems tab is going to be disabled. And then official add-ons that are not going to work are Revit issues, PDX data connectors, and lighting analysis, between some others that are not going to work. Also, the desktop applications that are not supported in the Autodesk for Government environment are Fabrication Data Management Sync Tool and the Desktop Connector. Access to some files that are stored in local cache is limited. If you attempt to open a Revit file from one of these cache locations without switching to the appropriate environment, Revit will block access to the file during model opening, and the current authenticated user and environment will not recognize the model. Okay, so it gives you, as you can see, it gives you a very safe environment, very protected to shared sensitive models. Besides of that, it works exactly the same as all the models that are saved in the cloud, okay, in Docs and so on. Another thing that you have to keep in mind, that you can only access it when you are based and working out of Revit out of the United States. Okay, and with that said, let me open up the floor for questions.
Thank you, Sandra, for this wonderful presentation. While we wait for the questions, I wanted to remind everyone that you have the red buttons up in the upper side of the screen. You can request a demo, you can check our services, our support, our productivity tools as well. And I wanted to remind you all of our upcoming webinars. Next week on November 19, we'll have Track Less, Create More with Autodesk Flow Production Tracking. It's an M&E tool, but it's also used for AC. So we'll have somebody directly from Autodesk presenting that. So if you're interested, you can click in the upcoming webinars link in the up right hand and register. And again, even if you cannot make it, you will receive the on-demand recording. We'll have on November 20, From Planning to Progress, Civil 3D for Public Infrastructure Projects. So this will be another government webinar for Civil 3D. And then we'll finish our government series with construction on December 3rd, Autodesk Construction cloud for public infrastructure. So we highly suggest you to check them out, register so you can get the on-demand recording even if you attend or not. Also wanted to remind you all that if you're interested in and learning any of these topics in detail, you can take a custom training with Sandra or someone else on our team. And we also offer group classes online. And this is our contact information based on region, our phone numbers, and you also have down there my contact information, or you can just click the red button that says contact us. And also, please, we really it will really help us if you help us fill out the survey that you have in the upper right hand corner. This really helps us improve and give you content that is more valuable. So if we don't have further questions, I would like to thank Sandra and thank everyone for attending. Again, if you have any questions or any inquiries, you have here our numbers, you have here my email. We'll be sending you also an email after this webinar that you can reply to, or you can use all the tools that we have here in this console, like the contact us, or check out our products and services and learn more about what MicroCAD does. So yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you, Sandra. I hope you'll have a great rest of your week.
Thank you guys for being with us today. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.
Bye-bye.